Hermit Ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So today I'm here to do an unboxing and walkthrough of a deck that this time last week I knew nothing about at all, and it's the Shimmering Veil Tarot by Cilla Conway. I adore Cilla Conway and her work, so you will have seen me show on my channel before, the Days of Creation, working with the energies of the universe, and this deck is just amazing. The oil paints, it's just so beautiful. It's a great system to work with. I love the fact there aren't any sort of keywords. There are numbers so you can look up meanings in the books, but it really does. The energies in this deck really do take you to another realm. Look at that, isn't that just beautiful? So many cards, it's hard to choose favorites. It's just powerful on a very, very deep level. So I adore this deck. And Days of Creation is, is a Sanskrit meaning shining one, and that's what I really loved about these images. They're just these energies, these archetypes, these shining messengers from that collective consciousness. And that's how I work with this deck. It is connecting me, my soul, to the collective consciousness. The Shimmering Veil Tarot works very much in the same way, from my understanding. And like I said, I didn't really know much about this. I received a request to join the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, actually, from Cilla. I think it was at the weekend, just only a few days ago, maybe Friday, Saturday of last week. And she had seen my walkthrough of the Days of Creation Oracle and asked if she could send me a copy of her new tarot. And of course I was, yes, please. I was absolutely thrilled and quite humbled that, she enjoyed my review that much that she wanted to send me one of her new tarot decks. This isn't her first tarot. She also created the Intuitive Tarot. That's not a tarot deck I have, but she also worked in collaboration with John Matthews and released the Byzantine Tarot, which again is a wonderful. John Matthews wrote the book. Cilla Conway is the artist, and the images in these cards are so beautiful and just show Cilla's diversity in when it comes to art style, because these are very, very different art depictions than the Days. So, but a fantastic, and it's such a good quality thick deck as well. It's a wonderful, wonderful tarot deck. So this, the Shimmering Veil Tarot, I will just read the back so you can get some information. Let me take the cellophane off, and without, this is always the tricky bit, without damaging any of the packaging. There we go. All you need is that little break. Oh, the box feels wonderful. It's got that rose petal skin-like feel. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful packaging. These are the sides. The Shimmering Veil Tarot, Cilla Conway, and it's raised. This, I love this shimmering. You've got that sort of beautiful shimmering effect on the border there. And it's the creator of the Intuitive Tarot, the Byzantine Tarot with John Matthews, and the Days of Creation. So on the back it's it's all raised. Oh, that feels lovely. exploring the archetypes of cosmic consciousness. And that's exactly how I feel when I'm working with the Dewas, is that I am tapping into something greater, almost like the ocean of consciousness. As I've said before, we're like little tides that rise up, live our lives, and then we go back to that greater consciousness. And it really does feel like you're connecting with very powerful spiritual messengers when working with that deck. So this promises, particularly to me, to take that to the next level in the structure of tarot by working with the archetypes of the cosmic consciousness. So Cilla Conway has been working with the tarot since 1973. Her first deck, the Intuitive Tarot, emerged as the Fool drew himself onto her sketch pad, summoning her to join him in this world, the imaginal realm of dreams or some alternate dimension. In the Shimmering Veil Tarot, Cilla explores that world once again. Wonderful. Reflecting on the concept that the universe is not only created by, but also comprises pure consciousness. A concept that is now subject of serious scientific research. The Shimmering Veil Tarot is a traditional tarot deck, although it includes two Fools, the Zero and the Golden Fool, and an optional extra Queen of Fire, 80 cards in total. Wow, that's really interesting. So I understand an optional Queen, you know, so we can interchange, but having two Fools is deliberate. The Zero and the Golden Fool. I wonder if the Golden Fool is at the end of the journey. The suits are elemental energies. Wonderful. Air, fire, earth and water. And I like that. As I've said, just recently I've been working with tarot that just uses those energies, like the 78 elemental tarot, etc., which I've just done a walkthrough of. So the 108-page full-colour booklet, 108 pages, wow, provides detailed interpretations of the cards, describes how the deck was created, and considers concepts from the latest scientific research on consciousness and the multidimensional universe. Wow, that's really interesting. And I love to read anything about, you know, really looking into what consciousness is, because it has baffled scientists for eons, to actually what consciousness is. Where is our mind stored? Is it actually, you know, in the physical brain, or is it part of something greater? Okay. This is a beautifully presented deck. So we have the images here. I love how everything is raised up. You can run your fingers across these letters. The book is exactly the same. It's in this beautiful rose petal finish, but just look how beautiful this is. Oh, the cards are nice and big. I'm jumping ahead. I'm so excited. The Shimmering Veil Tarot, exploring the archetypes of cosmic consciousness. So, wow, let's have a look what we get in this book then. Publications is London. Yeah, who is the, it must be her own publishing company. CC, I'm assuming, is Cilla Conway. The rights of Cilla Conway to be identified as the author of this work has been, so we've got the copyright there, originally 1988. For this deck, it's 2020. Cards, artwork and book design, copyright Cilla Conway 2020. So it is brand new, guys. The most beautiful experience we have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Whoever does not know it and can no longer wonder, no longer marvel, is as good as dead. And his eyes are dimmed. Albert Einstein. Wow. Oh, and there's an Eckhart Tolle quote here, "You are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while." Yes, I remember that's such a famous quote. And again, it takes me back to my analogy of the ocean and the waves. Every situation, no matter how challenging, is conspiring to bring you into a greater vibrational energy. Will you receive it? So we get a contents page. How does the tarot work? There's a question. The quantum realms, consciousness and the Shimmering Veil Tarot. The images of the Shimmering Veil Tarot. Introduction to the major arcana. Journey through the major arcana. The majors, and then we have the minors, which are split into elemental suits. And using the Shimmering Veil Tarot and further reading, etc. So how the tarot works, quantum realms. Since the discovery of quantum particles in the 1920s, scientists have been experimenting to discover their qualities, and their findings have turned the scientific world on its head. Absolutely. So it talks about the macro universe. I'd assume the micro universe too. Consciousness and the Shimmering Veil. So where does the tarot fit in this complex picture? I'd love to try and get hold of the intuitive tarot, the first tarot deck that Cilla did. We get full colour pictures. So there's a lot of information here. Journey through the major arcana. So we get a little bit of each of the major arcana cards, which is nice if you just want a quick reference. And then we go into the cards. And here we've got the Fool, the Magus or Magus, depends where you're from. I've heard it pronounced both ways. So we get, I love this, the Hierophant is the mediator between heaven and earth, the gods and the people. He or she acts as a bridge between divinity and humanity, translating the voice of the gods. I love it. Suggested meanings, I like that, suggested meanings, because all the tarot does is suggest. We have to do the work. And there is a section for reversals. So it looks like that goes all the way through, even on the minors. These images look amazing. I love that, the suit of earth. So we get a write-up about the suit as well. The suit of fire, and so on. So a really nice, handy book. I like that, it feels great. So let's have a look at the cards. Oh, look at the inside. This box is beautiful. It's going to be quite hard to read. I might need my magnifying glass just for this bit. In ages past, you come to ask your most pressing questions. Today, my time is returning. Once more, I look at you through the veil of consciousness and answer, as always, through ambiguity and metaphor. Do you recognize me? Do you remember? Isn't that beautiful? Speaking to us through metaphors. Oh, this is such a beautiful box. Love it. So let's have a look at the cards. Let's take the seal off. Oh, these feel great. They are nice and thick. They're matte. They do have a sheen, but just like any matte card, they're not glossy at all. The backs are beautiful, fully reversible, I should say. And they're just beautiful. A lovely size. Comparing with a regular tarot. Let's line them up. It's taller and wider, so they're a nice size. So here is our Fool. Now this is the 0 Fool. So there's a Fool, and there is a golden Fool, which we will come on to. Let's just have a look. I might have the book handy as well. I'm not going to read for every card because obviously we'll be here quite a while, but I just love this image, you know. It's neither male nor female. It's beautiful. It's light. It's just wonderful energy. Look how he's looking up for the butterfly. We have this little pattern here at the bottom. I think that's on every card. I'm wondering if that's actually Cilla's signature, because it is like two C's with the second one inverted, but it might not be. Just, it's nice. I like it. So that's beautiful. Beautiful colours, beautiful energy. It says here, he is the newborn babe, eyes wide in wonderment from his life in the time before this. Yes, a pre-existence. He understands little of what he sees, but still has access to the source of consciousness beyond the veil. His mind is full of wonder, open to everything. Wow. And then it talks about traditionally the fool represents the outsider, free of normal conventions and constraints. Then you get your suggested meanings. But isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful image? Oh, wow. This is like having Days of Creation in tarot form. It's beautiful. This is the Magus, representing the beginning of a separate ego. He is the child finding mastery and wonder in his world, the initiate who has passed the first test of control of his universe. And as I say, there's a lot more to read here. But look at these colours. Isn't it just absolutely gorgeous? So here's our High Priestess, who, if you remember, gave us the message at the base of the box. The High Priestess holds a representation of the multi-dimensional crystal lattice of consciousness in her hands. As we grow, the veil seems to drop between the dimensions. Isn't that true? You know, the older we get, the more acclimatized to this physical world we become. You know, we do lose a lot of that magic and wonder. And as I've spoken before about my experience as a child, I do believe it's because I was, you know, closer to whatever pre-existence there might be. But we forget, and we're shaped by our peers and society to tell us not to think in certain ways. The High Priestess can still access the higher dimensions through dreams and visions. Her intent eyes, glinting behind her veil, look deep into the past, present and future, as shown by the Ouroboros. Ah, oh, beautiful. And here we have our Empress. I'm getting such good feels from this deck. This is stunning. I'm going to work the heck out of this deck. It is so beautiful, but so powerful. It's just got such a wonderful energy. Supremely fecund at the time, and at the same time extremely dangerous. The Empress sits enthroned on the earth, stars birthing through her right hand. She embodies the Divine Mother, receptive, abundant, sensuous, fertile. As the great goddess, she represents all the forces of nature in their complexity. And I'm just reading a few lines because obviously, you know, I'm not going to read the whole book. And if you get this deck, which I hope you do, because trust me, this is such a beautiful tool. I don't want to read everything and spoil it for people. Here we have our Emperor, and we get this change of colour, this fiery reds and oranges. As the Empress is the mother archetype, so the Emperor is that of the father. Mythology provides us with sources of examples. All-Father, Odin, Zeus, and Jupiter from the Greco-Roman pantheon. Ra, Egyptian, Indra, Hindu, Dagda, Celtic, etc. Here's our Hierophant, which is beautiful, so beautiful. And as I said, I read this earlier, the Hierophant is the mediator between heaven and earth, the gods and the people. He or she acts as a bridge between divinity and humanity, translating the voice of the gods. Unfortunately, often the formalization of religion leads to corruption of the original connection with divinity. And the Hierophant's deep convictions and enthusiasm can slip into fanaticism, dogma, and moral superiority. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Our lovers, how beautiful is that? The myth of Adam and Eve is really about choice. Eve is formed from Adam's rib, and the first two humans are offered a choice between staying happy morons or eating an apple that gives them knowledge. As we know, Eve chooses to eat the apple. In reality, the myth is biologically ridiculous. Eve could not have been formed from Adam's rib. The female X chromosome is the basis from which the male Y mutated. Exactly. Every fetus is female in the early stages. I'm so blown away. I'm so blown away. This deck is just, every card I'm turning, I'm gasping. The Chariot is the vehicle that takes us through life. The charioteer controls the sun's wild horses, one white and one black, symbolizing the conscious ego and the unconscious instincts, while the charioteer himself could be Apollo or Helios, the old Titanic sun god, controlling the passage of the sun across the sky. The charioteer represents our mature ego. Having separated from our parents, we now search for our place in the world. Wow. We learn to master our emotions and show only those we think are acceptable. Yes. Look at that. Strength card. The lion, alchemical symbol for wild, natural, instinctive, is often depicted in medieval literature as being subdued by a young woman. This is ongoing engagement between our conscious and unconscious minds, here entitled Strength. Wow. The line depicts that what Freud called the id. Is it the id? Yeah, the id, the ID, the instinctive, needy, childish part within each of us. Traditionally, the card is about courage, facing the beast within, coming to terms with it, and finally harnessing its energy in partnership, strengthened by the very act of facing our hidden selves. Paradoxically, what we most despise and fear often holds the key to our greatest gifts. And just look at that image. Oh, look at the Hermit. Oh, I love it. Hooded and caped in a traditional pilgrim's cloak, the Hermit walks slowly towards a dark cavern. His only light, a small lantern which he holds close. This is his guide, as some profound inner compulsion impels him to embark on a solitary journey into the unknown. This path is not for the faint-hearted. Every step is dogged by fear, and rightly so, as the confrontation with the unconscious can be perilous. The id's wayward darkness that we encountered in Strength is nothing in comparison with this fearful inner world. And then we have the Wheel. The Wheel is shown as a spiral galaxy, a slow rotation of gravity around a cluster of brilliant stars, and possibly a black hole which, who knows, may draw in from one dimension, exploding outwards into a different, unknown universe. Wow, you're really taking your look on that as well, aren't you? What a brilliant depiction for the wheel. Oh, it's beautiful. What a beautiful deck. The traditional image of justice shows her blindfolded to show that the law does not discriminate between poor and rich. Today, it too often indicates that justice is blind. Here, however, we see archetypal justice, keen-sighted, sure and true, and natural outcome of balancing forces of the universe. Stunning. Here's our Hanged Man. Up to now, we have not encountered the concept of surrender in faith and trust, rather the opposite. The path so far has shown us battling, enduring. The hangman symbolises a complete surrender and a voluntary sacrifice to the unknown. Yes. And then we have the death card. Wow, look at this tiny figure here. This is a realm that none of us will experience while breath still moves through our lungs. But above those whose breath has finally ceased, hovers a dark winged being. Looking closer, we realize that the souls of the dead are being called to pass through death's transformative embrace. I love that. In the clouds behind the figure, a skull. I could see quite a lot of things in these clouds, but I definitely see a skull there, which is the age-old symbol of mortality. It might well send a shiver down our spines, for while we acknowledge that death is unavoidable, it usually remains a mental concept, hopefully far into the future. This is just amazing. And the cards are so lovely. Temperance is the first glimmerings of the higher soul. Feathered wings curl softly around the illuminated figure. Carefully, mindfully, the angel pours liquid from one chalice to another, an alchemical mix of representing the combination of opposites, dark and light, conscious and unconscious, male and female. And it's so beautiful. Wow. Wow, look at this devil. The devil, as shown here, is a powerful, destructive figure. The malevolent eyes glare out at us, its clawed hands seeming to threaten the imprisoned figures below, and yet, at the same time, its features radiate an inarticulate pain. We as humans are hopefully split, on one hand capable of wondrous kindness, and on the other diabolical cruelty and inhumanity, the consequences of which are seen clearly in the world today. Wars, genocide, pollution, the destruction of every species, including our own, are all caused by our inability to acknowledge the inner shadow, yes, whether individual or collective. Oh, I can't wait to read this book from cover to cover. As I said, I know I need to pick up some speed, and I'll probably only read a few texts for the majors, but I'm just loving this deck. I'm loving seeing these beautiful, powerful images and then coupling it with the beautiful words that Cilla has used to describe the cards. And this may be a little book, but it is packed, and it's a gem of knowledge and information. And I'm just literally reading the first few lines. So here we have the Tower. The early titles of the Tower were La Maison Dieu, the Tower of God, and also the Maison d'Eiffel, the Devil's House. So here it says, the towering seas, the blood red of the clouds, and the tower summit, lightning struck and about to collapse, all appear to depict the destruction of the very structure of our civilization. Oh, look at that for the star card. After the archetypal darkness of death and the diabolic, after the divine lightning has seared through our lives, we may think nothing is left. However, as our vision clears, we find ourselves floating in a shimmering sky, held lightly within the arms of a delicate stellar being, emerging from the dark into the subtle, iridescent illumination of the star. We are now able to see ourselves to be an integral part of the source, the multi-dimensional consciousness. Wow, that's a beautiful moon card. I love it. Look at the full moon here, just peeking above the clouds. We've got the water, the pillars, the crayfish. A full moon, its silvery light pulsing with mystery, hangs over the sea from which emerges a clawed crayfish or lobster. Two obelisks rear up on either side of this creature, reminding us of the inherently magical moon goddesses such as Selene and Hecate. Mythical goddesses identified with perilous power, ambivalence and sorcery. The moon's characteristics, its fitful light and constant metamorphosis, from apparent invisibility to the lustrous silver globe that mysteriously affects humans, the sea and crop, have long been associated with the feminine and insanity. And then we have this beautiful, beautiful sun. Apologies about the many interruptions. I just had a call there. Here we have our beautiful sun. The sun is traditionally about enlightenment, about drawing in divine warmth and light, and equally important, letting our own light shine out. And then we have our judgment card. A look at all these souls being called up to the light. The judgment card is a relic of the medieval concepts underlying the tarot. At the end of time, the last trump will sound, and the souls of the faithful will be drawn up to encounter judgment, purgatory, hell, or union with the divinity. In contrast, many people who have had near-death experiences report they travelled through a long tunnel, met their loved ones, a light being, or other radiant souls, only to be told that they must return to earth, at least for a while. No judgment is involved, just a sense of unity and the all-encompassing love. Gorgeous. It looks like it's almost textured. It's just so wonderful. And here's our world card. In this deck, it's entitled The Universe, which, you know, many tarot creators refer to the world card as the universe. The journey complete, the integrated soul surrenders its being to the greater unity, arms thrown wide in ecstasy. The pilgrim has broken free of our universe and is now part of the cosmic dance. While the energy of creation flows around her, the figure is traditionally both male and female. This is the culmination of the quest, total integration of soul, body and mind with the mystery of source, the multidimensional meta-consciousness that creates and contains not only our universe, but all universes. So that's the major arcana, and oh wow, I am blown away. This must be, it is, so we have our Fool and our Golden Fool, which is card number 22. So you can see here that it's not interchangeable, you know. They have different energies, light and dark. We have this beautiful color wheel, whereas we have pastels here. Rather than a butterfly, it looks like it's a flower, I'm thinking, or mandala. Let's see what the book says. So the Golden Fool. Here we return once more to the Fool, this time in its higher form of the Golden Fool. We have, of course, met the Fool earlier at the start of the tarot journey. The guileless soul with no comprehension of what lies in front of him and no memory of what lies behind. But here in the Golden Fool, we encounter a sublime wisdom, a joy in existence we may all emulate, and the emergence of new transformative evolution of the human spirit. The holy fool completes his human cycle of existence and moves on still further, past full awareness. We note he holds in his hands not a butterfly, but a crystal lattice of multi-dimensional consciousness, and still further into some mysterious rebirth. So that is that crystal lattice that we saw also our beautiful high priestess holding. So he's achieved, he's come full journey from that innocence and wonder and not knowing the world about him, this newly born, as was described in the book, to having gone through, having met all of the archetypes and completed his journey rich in knowledge, and going on beyond. Just beautiful. Okay, so I am going to speed this up a bit, rather than read from the book, because, you know, do buy this deck. I cannot stress enough just how beautiful this is. It's just stunning. So we have a symbol here for each of the elements. So this is our air suit, I'm assuming, with it being a cloud. Makes sense for that. Yes. So I can see the symbols. So we have here our ace, which would be the ace, the one of air. And we've got this beautiful bird taking to the air, flying above these Alps. Oh, wow. Look how powerful these images are. Just beautiful. These will be great to meditate with as well. Look at that. See these eyes in the clouds? Isn't that amazing? This beautiful red cloak going forward, but so air, of course, is our swords. So our six of swords is that boat that's moving across this perilous water, hoping to find a calmer shore. These are incredible. That feeling with the Eight of Swords of being trapped, bound, needing a way out. The energy in this deck is wonderful. Here's our Nightmare card. That overthinking, the things that keep us awake at night on our mind. And then the 10. I mean, this is just rain coming down, but I love that there aren't, you know, because it's elements. You don't need to see a sword. Our page, which is P. Beautiful. We have a W for the night. So let's see what the W refers to. It's warrior. So we have page, warrior, queen and king. And this is the horned warrior of air holds aloft what appears to be a pair of ghostly swords. Oh yes. Or perhaps shears. We have no idea why he is fighting, maybe spirits or even his own mind. Beautiful queen. And king. What an incredible talent Cilla Conway has. We have the Ouroboros here. So the circle, I believe, is wands, because we have, we have fire. So is it coins, pentacles. We have fire and we have water. So this is earth, this is pentacles. We do get those earthy tones, don't we? As you can see here in the images. Wow. This reminds me of the film The Big Country, where they had to travel through those rock formations. Look at this. And this person holding the world. Beautiful. A Five of Pentacles. Yeah, one person with a stick being guided, supported. Love the building here, shadowy in the background. 6. We're used to seeing the RWS version where the coins are being given depending on who gets what with the scales. That's gorgeous. Oh, this artwork is breathtaking. Look at that. How rich and vibrant. But you'd want that for the Nine of Pentacles. So beautiful. And the 10. Our Page. I love that she's holding some flowers here, and her body is made up of these beautiful floral pattern as well. We are at one with nature. Our Warrior. That's a beautiful queen, very impressionist. I love it. And our King with his crystals representing the earth. And then we have fire. Wow. Gorgeous. The explosions of colour are just stunning. Here we have our battles, our Five of Wands moment. I have to say, and I don't say this lightly, this probably has to be one of the most beautiful tarot decks I own, as well as one of the most powerful tools that I just know I'm going to really enjoy working with. It has an amazing energy. It's stirring me up, and that happens only a few times out of nearly 500 tarot decks. I think it's happened 3 times now where I've just had such a reaction. So remember, we have an alternative queen here, one where she's holding a snake. The other, it looks like she might be holding a snake's skin. Let's see what the book has to say about our queens. The Fire Queen is my tribute to the priestess of Thera and Crete. Bare-breasted with a tight-fitting bodice and layered skirt, the queen holds an enormous snake close to her lips. For those with ophiophobia, an alternative image shows her regenerating electricity. Ah, that's what it is. The serpent priestess probably used snake venom to journey, prophecy, and heal. As aspects of the anima, the archetypal feminine, The queens often have to carry not only man's projections of the perfect woman, but also women's projections and resentments of what they think they ought to be. However, the Fire Queen's shadow aspect can be really dangerous, the femme fatale who uses her glamour to enslave. So it's for those basically who have a fear of snakes being so close. You can have this alternative showing the manifestation of electricity. So that's really cool. Wow, and look at him for the king. Wow. Oh, I love this deck. And then we have water. And we've gone to these beautiful blue. We've got dolphins here. An aquamarine life. That's beautiful. Our Two of Cups. Look at that embrace. Any age, any gender, any sexuality, any ethnicity. Beautiful. Oh, just so beautiful. The three in celebration together. 4. 5 of Cups. Oh, look at this. Look at that for the 6. Oh, she looks on. Oh, that's a beautiful card. I would love that as like an art print. It's just gorgeous. 7. Those choices. They're in little water bubbles rather than cups. Oh, this is beautiful too. There's so many gorgeous pieces of art. Oh, wow. Beautiful. There's our warrior. Look at him. I wonder if that's Poseidon. He looks very sort of... The water warrior emerges from the sea, powerful and watchful, trident firm in one hand. Trident firm in one hand. He holds what could be a sailing ship in the other, giving us an idea of his size. The warrior is a deep sea creature, usually a loner who craves companionship, yet often repels it when he appears. Wow. Beautiful queen. And the king. What an incredible deck. This is a lovely, stunningly beautiful deck. I absolutely adore it. Thank you, Cilla, for sending this to me. This is a cherished gift. I'm going to so enjoy working with this. I just know it's going to be a very healing and powerful tool for me to work with. Yeah, so I'm just blown away. As you can probably tell, I love it so much. So thank you. Anybody else watching this, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? How do the images speak to you? What feelings do you get when you see powerful images such as these? Because they really are beautiful. Okay guys, well thank you for watching. Sorry this video has been a bit longer than normal, but I just had to explore the images and see what Cilla had to say in the book. And as I said, I've only read a few lines, so I'm really looking forward to digging deep. Yeah, and take care of yourselves, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.